Okay, guys, I'm going to go over how you can take an equation that is not in slope-intercept form and rewrite it into slope-intercept form. And this can help you do things like it can help you graph, okay, easier. If they give you a problem that's not written in slope-intercept form and they ask you to find the slope or the y-intercept, okay, your best bet is to rewrite it in slope-intercept because then you'll have all the information you need. So I got three examples here. I'm just going to go through them one by one. Okay. Um, when you're asked to rewrite in slope-intercept form, there's two things you got to do. Okay. All right. We're trying to get the y by itself because remember, let me erase that. Let me start over again here. Okay. Slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. So we're trying to isolate the y. Okay. So there's two things we got to do. Number one is we are going to move the x term. Okay, so we're going to move the x term to the other side. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say move the x term. We're going to move it to the other side of the equation. So I'll go through that for each of these first so we can kind of break this into two steps. Let me get these smudge marks out of the way. All right, so this first problem over here, when we say move the x term, we got a positive 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x. And then I'm going to have 2y is equal to, and I'm just going to write the x term first. It would be negative 3x plus 8 because we want it to be mx plus b. Here I got a positive 4x, so I'm going to subtract 4x. Okay, again, there's the equal sign. All right, so that's going to the other side. Just make sure you bring down that negative with that 5y. Negative 5y is equal to negative 4x plus 15. And then over here, just be careful. They tried to trick you a little bit. They flip-flopped the x and the y. Okay, the x is negative 8x, so we're going to add 8x to each side. Okay, we're moving the x term to the other side. So we got 6y is equal to 8x plus 18. Okay, so there's your first step, guys. You want to move the x term to the other side. So the y term right now is isolated on one side of the equation. Now we got to isolate the y. So that's going to be our second step. Okay, our second step is going to be to divide by the coefficient of y. Coefficient, remember, is just a math term that means the number in front. Okay, so in number 4, I'm going to divide everything by 2. That'll make these 2 cancel. Y is equal to negative 3 over 2 x plus 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Notice I left this as a fraction, okay, because that's going to represent the slope. We don't want slope to be a decimal. We either want it to be a fraction or a nice neat whole number. So number 4 there is done. There's my equation in slope. Okay, number 5, I would have to divide across the board by negative 5. Divide everything by negative 5. I got some sign issues here. Just keep track of your signs. These negatives will cancel. A negative over a negative is going to give me a positive, so that's going to be 4 over 5 x, and then 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. So the equation is now in slope-intercept form. And then this last one, number 6, I'm going to divide across the board by 6. Okay, the 6's will cancel. Y is equal to, now I'm not going to leave that as an 8 over 6 because that could be reduced. If I divide the top and bottom by 2, that'll make that 4 over 3. We always reduce fractions when we can. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So now that is written in slope-intercept form. So now you have an idea how to rewrite these things. And then from there, it just depends on the question. If they were asking you what the slope and the intercept was, well, your answer for number 4, your slope, okay, your slope, which is represented by m, would be 3 over 2. Your y-intercept would be 0, 4. Okay, your slope here is 4 over 5, and your y-intercept is 0, negative 3. Over here, your slope is 4 over 3, and your y-intercept is 0, 3. So if they were asking you for the slope and the y-intercept, there's your answers. If they were asking you to graph, okay, then you would use that information to throw it on a coordinate grid. We've already talked about how to graph in slope-intercept form, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. Okay, so if they're asking you for the slope and the y-intercept, and you have an equation that's not in slope-intercept form, now you know how to rewrite it in slope-intercept form so you can easily answer those questions.